That's just making each quarterback get better, compete against each other. Really drive them to really be the best version of themselves. So you always want that as a quarterback.
You throughout your career,
full quarterback. Go ahead.
Throughout your career, you seem like every year you've had a situation where you go through 2-3 quarterbacks. How as a receiver do you adjust? How difficult is it to kind of constantly be going through that? Not just have that one guy that you can kind of establish that.
It's pretty difficult because you want to always build that relationship with a quarterback and have that consistency throughout the years. But as a receiver going through that, you just got to keep working and you got to learn how to adjust no matter what. Some situations ain't gonna go as planned, so you just got to figure out how to just keep going and stay on the right path.
Jerry, what are you excited about for year 2 for you? Just being in this offense for another year and getting acclimated even more.
I'm excited just to see the growth in the offense. Just seeing how we compete, seeing how we're going to do this year, and just putting up points and winning games. That's what I'm most excited about.
Jerry, you talked about just going through different quarterbacks and sort of expecting the unexpected field, but how do you make that transition for them a little bit? How do you make the transition for them a little bit easier when you have so many guys that are kind of out there and you don't really know who the set guy is, just building that relationship and stuff? What can you do on your end, I guess, to kind of help that cause?
Just going out there and practice, just get open, run my routes how I've been doing, and just keep doing what I've been doing. It's only so much I can control. All I could do is just run routes and get open. So that's what I'm going to continue doing and keep on doing.
What did you learn, just going through last year? I know obviously there were so many points of frustration just with losing, but you obviously have your first 1,000-yard season. You found success. What, having time to reflect on it, was important for you this offseason from what you learned being here in your first year last year?
Just patience. Just I ain't start off my season last year how I ended it. Of course, I just stayed patient, kept working, kept focused, and just kept working on my craft. Eventually I was able to perform and show what I could do, and that's what I'm continuing to keep doing.
Kim mentioned working with you even before you were traded here. How much have you already noticed kind of a benefit to that just out here during this offseason?
Sorry, my bad. Can you repeat that question?
Just having worked with Kenny even before he got here.
Oh yeah.
How much of a payoff has there already been? Do you feel like there's been just in what you guys have?
Yeah, I worked with Kenny back in South Florida. Just building that connection, building that relationship. It means a lot. Even off the field, it means a lot because it transitions on the field when it comes to this route running and getting on right timing, communicate with each other, talk about what we see on the field. So it's always big.
How much more comfortable do you feel? Obviously, last year coming in was your first year here. Everything was kind of new. Just how much more comfortable do you feel in the offense and with the team and just kind of where you're at?
I feel pretty comfortable. Like you said, last year was my first year. Now it's my second year, so I'm more, acclimated. So I feel pretty good.
What are your impressions of the 2 rookie quarterbacks so far?
Oh, they working hard. They competing very well. Very smart, athletic quarterbacks that know the game of football, that know how to play the position real well. Very smart. I'm excited. They got a bright future ahead of them.
Was Joe in Denver with you?
Joe, he actually left before I got there. Okay. Yeah, he left before I got there. But I heard a lot of great things about him.
Yeah, what's it been like getting to work with him so far today and this week?
It been amazing. He actually my locker mate, so I have some conversation with him from time to time. He's a great dude, great quarterback. Been in the league for a long time. Understand this, and I'm excited to have him.
You talk about the rookies working hard and try to sort of get acclimated here. What are the conversations like with them, between you guys, between you and them, and just how much do they pick your brain in terms of trying to kind of get themselves acclimated?
They don't really ask me too much questions because they already know what they need to do. They don't really ask that much questions, So they just come out here and do that. They know football. They understand the game. That's what I respect most about them because they understand the game of football. So they don't really ask too much questions. But once they do, they must don't know. So I tend to give them a tip or two about it.
Who throws the best ball out there?
You know I'm not going to answer that. you know I'm not going to answer that.
What's it like? It looks like a three-ring circus at times, but it seems very organized with all these extra reps. How's it gone for 2 days as a receiver with all these extra reps?
It's been good. You know, I seen practice. There was a lot of drop balls today. I don't think there was a lot of drop balls. So quarterback was putting balls right on the money. You know, and the receiver was making plays. You know, we're gonna keep doing that.
Jerry, what are those conversations with Joe like sitting next to him in his locker room? Is it personal stuff, football
Yeah,
stuff? What are you guys talking
It's a
about?
little bit of personal. We just had a personal conversation come before I came out here. You know, something that I ain't gonna say out here in the media, but you know, we just be talking. Nothing major.
And then I'm thinking, you know, last year you were kind of in that corner with JOK, and you guys always had those lively conversations.
Yeah.
So has it been hard kind of seeing him go through what he's gone through since that
Yeah,
injury? Now he's gonna be
I
out
miss
this
my dog JOK, man. Just the energy he brings to the locker room, even on the field. You know, but you know, you want to be able to want the best for him. You know, unfortunately we ain't gonna have him this year, and that sucks because he's one hell of a player. But you know, I just wish the best for him.
Jerry, how has your approach to this stage of the offseason changed as you become an older player?
Say that again.
How has your approach changed to this stage of the offseason as you've become an older player?
You know, just about taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, knowing you're getting a set routine before you go out there on the field, and make sure you prepared when you is on the field. That's the biggest thing for real.
Along those lines, why is it important to you to be here for this phase of the program, even though it is voluntary, obviously?
Because you want to build that connection with your quarterbacks, and you know, just even we got new plays in, and you just want to be able to understand the new plays, new concepts, and things like that. You know, and I just love football. I love being out here. I love competing.
You weren't here when Flacco had his big month in 2023.
I seen it, though.
At the time, Amari Cooper said when he throws the ball, it's like poetry in motion.
Yeah, it is.
You see what he means?
Yeah, I see exactly what he means. I see him out there every day so far, you know, so I'm excited for Joe. I'm excited to play with him.
I was gonna ask, like, along those lines, how aware were you of that story, like, as it was happening when he went on this run with the Browns in 2023?
I was watching it.
Yeah.
I was watching it. Yeah, I watched a few games, you know, so yeah, I'm not surprised to see what Joe's been doing.
Talk about you wanting to score points and getting the offense flowing, but some of the receiving for you, Cedric, Jamari, you guys were doing those one-handed catches over there. What has just kind of been your approach with them and as a unit as you guys, you know, just work through the offseason together?
The biggest thing really just building confidence, just knowing, like, just ingraining in their brain, like, we're the best, this is what we do. We're in the NFL for a reason, so just making sure everybody's on the right page, just play fast and play confident, you know, so that's the biggest thing for real.
You talked about the rookie quarterbacks, but there's some young receivers here looking to make a name for themselves, looking to earn a spot. So for you as a veteran leader now, what is your message to those guys?
The biggest thing really is learn their playbook, learn their position for real. Then everything will come afterwards. Once you keep your head in that playbook, know what you're supposed to do on offense, know where you're supposed to line up, know where you're supposed to be for the quarterback, you know, then the little techniques and details will follow with it. So that's the biggest thing for real.
Have you liked what you've seen from them so far?
Yeah, we got a great group of guys. You know, I'm excited for the young group of guys.
Tommy was here obviously last year, but he was, you know, tight end, working with the tight ends. How much have you noticed that, you know, his influence on what you guys are doing offensively?
Yeah, Tommy, you know, he don't really say too. Tommy don't really say too much, you know. But that's my dog. We got a good relationship off the field. That's my dog. I mess with Tommy. That's my dog. But he chill. You know, he just call his plays. Don't really say too much. You know, show the little details he'll fix and work on. You know, ain't too much for Tommy.
He's your guy. Were you excited when you got promoted to offensive coordinator?
Yeah. Because, you know, Tommy was a real cool dude. Man. I mess with Tommy.